The year is 636 AD, a time of monumental shifts in the global balance of power. The Byzantine Empire, the inheritor of Rome's legacy, stood as a colossal power in the West, its dominion stretching across vast territories. For centuries, it had been locked in a grueling struggle with the Sasanian Persian Empire, a conflict that had left both empires exhausted and vulnerable. Into this power vacuum emerged a new, dynamic force from the Arabian Peninsula, the Rashidun Caliphate, fueled by the nascent faith of Islam. The armies of Islam, highly motivated and disciplined, had already achieved stunning successes against both the Byzantines and the Persians. They had swept through Mesopotamia and were now pushing deep into the Byzantine Levant, a region of immense strategic and economic importance. The Byzantine Emperor Heraclius, a seasoned and capable ruler, could not ignore this existential threat. He had recently concluded a hard-won victory against the Persians and was determined to crush the upstart Arab forces and restore Byzantine authority in Syria. To this end, Heraclius began assembling a massive, multi-ethnic imperial army, drawing troops from every corner of his vast empire. Slavs, Franks, Georgians, Armenians, and Christian Arabs marched alongside the elite Byzantine regulars, forming a truly formidable host. The command of this grand army was entrusted to Vahan, an Armenian general and the military governor of Emesa, though the emperor's brother Theodore and other high-ranking nobles also held significant authority, creating a complex and potentially fractious command structure. The sheer size of the Byzantine force was intended to intimidate and overwhelm the smaller Muslim army. Estimates of the Byzantine army vary wildly, but it likely numbered well over 100,000 men, a force far superior in numbers to their Arab adversaries. On the other side, the Rashidun army was a fraction of the size, perhaps numbering around 40,000 soldiers at most. However, what they lacked in numbers, they made up for in experience, morale, and unity of purpose. These were veteran soldiers, hardened by years of campaigning in the desert. Their faith provided a powerful unifying bond and a belief that they were engaged in a divine mission. The overall command of the Muslim forces in Syria was held by Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, known for his piety and humility. Yet, the true tactical genius behind the Muslim army was Khalid ibn al-Walid, a commander of legendary prowess, known by the epithet, the Sword of Allah. Khalid had been recalled from his campaigns in Persia and dispatched to Syria to take field command, a decision that would prove decisive. His arrival bolstered the morale of the Muslim troops, who revered his tactical acumen and his unbroken record of victories. Khalid consolidated the scattered Muslim corps into a single, unified army, recognizing that they could not hope to defeat the Byzantines in a piecemeal fashion. He understood that the coming confrontation would be a decisive one, a battle that could determine the fate of the entire region. The chosen battlefield was the plain of Yarmouk, a location in modern-day Jordan and Syria, near the Golan Heights. The site was strategically significant, bordered on the west by the deep ravines of the Wadi Rakad, which offered a natural barrier. To the south lay the Yarmouk River, and to the east, the lava fields of Harat al-Sham. This terrain would play a crucial role in the battle, channeling the movements of both armies and limiting the effectiveness of the Byzantine superior numbers, particularly their heavy cavalry. Khalid ibn al-Walid, with his keen eye for topography, recognized the advantages the terrain offered. He deliberately drew the Byzantines onto this ground, a place where their numerical superiority could be negated and where his own forces could use the natural features to their advantage. The two armies encamped and faced each other for several weeks, a period of tense anticipation marked by skirmishes and negotiations. The Byzantines, confident in their strength, hoped to awe the Muslims into submission or find a diplomatic solution that would restore their prestige without a major battle. Vahan sent emissaries, including the Christian Arab leader Jabala ibn al-Ayyam, to the Muslim camp, offering terms and attempting to sow discord. The Muslim commanders, however, remained resolute, offering the Byzantines the choice of conversion to Islam, payment of the jizya, a tribute, or the sword. The negotiations ultimately failed, as neither side was willing to compromise on its core objectives. The stage was set for a cataclysmic clash of civilizations. The battle commenced on the 15th of August, 636 AD. For 6 days, the plains of Yarmouk would be soaked in blood. On the first day, Vahan initiated the conflict by sending his champions forward to engage in single combat, a traditional prelude to major battles in that era. The Muslim Mubarizun, elite warriors specialized in dueling, met them head-on. The Arab champions proved superior, slaying several Byzantine officers and boosting the morale of their army from the outset. Following the duels, Vahan launched a limited, probing attack with a third of his infantry, testing the strength and resolve of the Muslim lines. The Muslim army was organized into a tight, defensive formation, with its center and wings holding firm against the Byzantine assault. The fighting was fierce, with heavy casualties on both sides, but the Muslim lines did not break. As dusk fell, the first day ended in a stalemate, but the Muslims had successfully repelled the initial Byzantine push. The second day saw Vahan change his tactics, opting for a surprise attack at dawn. He hoped to catch the Muslims unprepared while they were engaged in their morning prayers. The Byzantine plan was to strike the Muslim flanks, particularly the right wing, which faced the combined force of the Byzantine center, left, and left wing. The assault was powerful and well coordinated. The sheer weight of the Byzantine numbers began to tell, and the Muslim right wing, under the command of Ammar ibn al-As, was pushed back from its position. The Byzantine cavalry surged forward, threatening to envelop the Muslim flank. The situation became critical. Seeing the danger, Khalid ibn al-Walid, who had held his elite mobile guard in reserve, immediately intervened. He led a swift and decisive countercharge against the Byzantine left wing. Simultaneously, he dispatched another cavalry detachment to strike the flank of the Byzantine center-left. This rapid response, a hallmark of Khalid's generalship, stunned the Byzantines. Their advance was halted, and the momentum of their attack was broken. The Muslim right wing, relieved from the intense pressure, was able to regroup and push the Byzantines back to their original positions. The second day ended with the Byzantines repulsed, their plan for a quick breakthrough thwarted by Khalid's brilliant use of his reserves. The third day of the battle was marked by another major Byzantine offensive. This time, Vahan focused his main effort on the Muslim left wing, commanded by Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan. The Byzantines deployed their formidable heavy cavalry, the cataphracts, hoping to shatter the Muslim flank. The pressure was immense. The Muslim left wing was forced to give ground, and for a moment, it seemed as though the Byzantine charge would succeed. The Byzantine archers provided a covering fire, raining arrows down upon the Muslim soldiers. Once again, Khalid's mobile guard proved to be the decisive factor. He personally led a charge against the flank of the Byzantine right center, while another cavalry regiment attacked the flank of the Byzantine right wing. Caught in a pincer movement and attacked from an unexpected direction, the Byzantine advance faltered. The Muslim infantry on the left wing, inspired by Khalid's intervention, rallied and launched a furious counterattack. The fighting was brutal and close-quartered, but the Byzantines were eventually driven back, their assault on the left wing failing just as the previous day's attack on the right wing had failed. The fourth day became known as the Day of Lost Eyes. Vahan, frustrated by his previous failures, ordered a massive, coordinated assault across the entire front. He also deployed his vast contingent of archers to the front lines. The sky was darkened by a storm of arrows, which inflicted terrible casualties on the Muslim ranks. It is said that so many Muslim soldiers suffered eye injuries on this day that it earned its grim name. The Byzantine infantry pressed forward under this immense barrage. The Muslim left center and left wing were once again pushed back. Khalid, however, anticipated this move. He launched a two-pronged cavalry attack against the Byzantine left wing, which was now exposed as it advanced. The mobile guard, seemingly everywhere at once, crashed into the enemy's flank and rear. The Byzantine attack on the left was repulsed for a third time. Meanwhile, the Muslim right wing, under Amr ibn al-As, also faced a heavy assault but managed to hold its ground, aided by a timely cavalry charge that disrupted the Byzantine formation. By the end of the day, despite the heavy losses from the Byzantine archers, the Muslim line remained intact. Vahan's strategy of attrition was failing to break the will of the Muslim army. The fifth day brought a lull in the major fighting. The Byzantines, having suffered significant casualties and having failed to achieve a breakthrough in 4 days of relentless combat, were demoralized. Vahan sent an emissary to the Muslim camp, requesting a truce for several days to allow for new negotiations. Khalid ibn al-Walid, sensing that the Byzantine morale was cracking, suspected a trap but also saw an opportunity. He agreed to a truce for the following day, but he knew the decisive moment was at hand. He spent the night planning a final, crushing blow. He recognized that the Byzantine army, though still large, was weary and disheartened. Their complex command structure was likely rife with disagreement and recrimination after the repeated failures. Khalid's plan was audacious. He would shift from a defensive posture to an all-out offensive. The sixth and final day of the battle dawned, shrouded in a morning mist. Khalid put his daring plan into action. He reorganized his army, concentrating his best cavalry into a single, powerful corps of around 8,000 horsemen. His objective was to completely encircle and destroy the Byzantine cavalry, leaving their infantry isolated and vulnerable. As the Byzantine army formed up, Khalid launched his grand offensive. The main Muslim attack was directed at the Byzantine left wing, composed primarily of Christian Arabs. Simultaneously, Khalid led his elite cavalry on a wide flanking maneuver. He smashed into the Byzantine left flank, routing the Christian Arab auxiliaries. The Byzantine cavalry, seeing their flank collapse, attempted to countercharge but were met by the full force of the Muslim cavalry. A massive cavalry battle ensued on the plains. Khalid's superior tactics and the experience of his desert-bred horsemen proved decisive. The Byzantine cavalry was outmaneuvered, broken and driven from the field. Many were chased towards the treacherous ravines of the Wadi Arakad, where they fell to their deaths. With the Byzantine cavalry eliminated as a coherent force, their infantry was left exposed and without protection. The Muslim army then began a systematic assault on the trapped Byzantine foot soldiers. The Byzantine infantry, now leaderless and demoralized, was surrounded on 3 sides by the Muslim army and had the deep ravine at their back. Their formation began to disintegrate. Panic set in. Many soldiers tried to flee, but found their escape route cut off by the ravine. The retreat turned into a bloody rout. Thousands of Byzantine soldiers were cut down by the pursuing Muslims or perished in the ravine as they tried to escape. Vahan, the Byzantine commander, met his end in the chaos, though the exact circumstances of his death are disputed. Some accounts say he fell in battle, while others claim he fled and died in disgrace. The Byzantine army, once a magnificent and seemingly invincible host, had ceased to exist. It was a catastrophic and absolute defeat. The aftermath of the Battle of Yarmouk was profound and far-reaching. The victory was a stunning achievement for the reshaped Caliphate and a devastating blow to the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines lost the entirety of the Levant, including the holy city of Jerusalem, which surrendered a few months later. The defeat was so complete that Emperor Heraclius, upon hearing the news, is said to have abandoned Syria for good, lamenting, "Farewell, a long farewell to Syria, my fair province." The battle marked the beginning of the end of Byzantine rule in the region and paved the way for centuries of Muslim dominance. It was a military masterclass by Khalid ibn al-Walid, whose strategic brilliance, use of terrain, and masterful command of his mobile reserve had snatched victory from the jaws of what seemed like certain defeat. The battle demonstrated the effectiveness of the highly motivated and disciplined Muslim armies against the larger, more cumbersome forces of the established empires. It shattered the myth of Byzantine invincibility and sent shockwaves throughout the Christian and Persian worlds. The victory at Yarmouk secured the southern flank of the Muslim conquests, allowing them to turn their full attention towards the Sasanian Empire, which they would conquer in the coming years. The battle is considered one of the most decisive in military history, a pivotal moment that redrew the map of the world and set the stage for the rise of the Islamic Empire. The courage of the individual soldiers, the unity of their purpose, and the genius of their commander had combined to produce a victory against overwhelming odds, a victory that would echo through the corridors of history for centuries to come. The sun set on the bloody fields of Yarmouk, but it was rising on a new era, an era defined by the expansion of Islam and the establishment of a new world order. The echoes of the swords clashing on that fateful August day would resonate for generations, a testament to one of the most significant military engagements ever fought. The Byzantine dream of reconquering the East was shattered forever. The Rashidun Caliphate had announced its arrival on the world stage in the most dramatic fashion possible. The legacy of Yarmouk was not just a territorial gain. It was a profound psychological victory that fueled the expansion of the Caliphate for decades to come. The world had been irrevocably changed,